Welcome back to the land. From St. Vincent, St. Mary High School in Akron, Ohio, number 23, LeBron James!
The Lakers lost by 30. What did the Cavs expose tonight?
Well, what we've been saying all year long. Look, the Lakers are always going to win regular season games. They're good. They're that good offensively. But when they play against great elite teams with athleticism, they get exposed defensively.
LeBron James' return to Cleveland was supposed to be emotional, nostalgic, one of those full-circle NBA moments people replay for years. Instead, it turned into a straight-up humiliation. The Cavaliers didn't just beat the Lakers, they embarrassed them, ran them off the floor. A 129-999 massacre in front of LeBron's own hometown crowd against a Cavs team that hasn't even looked dominant this season. And let's be honest for a second, this isn't last year's Cleveland group. Not the squad that ran through the East with 18 losses and real fear factor. This version already walked into the night with 20 losses, uneven play, and obvious cracks. And yet,
Every moment here, Luka launches a three. Now, the court's kind of funky there in Cleveland. There's a little shelf and then a drop, and Luka rolls his left ankle over the side.
they made the Lakers look completely lost, overmatched, outclassed. So here's the uncomfortable question nobody wants to ask out loud. Was this supposed to be a heartwarming homecoming, or was it the first undeniable warning sign that LeBron James' reign as a true dominant force is over? I want you to argue this in the comments, because what happened on that floor matters way more than any tribute video ever could. This wasn't about nostalgia. This was about reality colliding with reputation.
Obviously, there's a different energy in this building when the James family's here. We saw how the fans reacted to Bronny, and certainly this could be potentially LeBron's last game in this building. How would you characterize his impact on this city and franchise? Well, you could say something too.
This is Donovan Mitchell city now. It's Donovan Mitchell city now. When he come back here, we're going to make sure that everybody root for him like they did for him. So this is his stuff.
LeBron barrels into Lonzo Ball, draws the whistle, then immediately reaches for his left leg. And right on cue, karma clocked in for its shift. Because while LeBron was grinding his way to double digits, the night somehow got even uglier. Late in the fourth, in a game that was already beyond over, LeBron tweaks his ankle. And let's be crystal clear, this wasn't from battling in crunch time. This wasn't from locking in defensively. This wasn't from sacrificing his body for a comeback. It happened in pure garbage time, chasing numbers that meant absolutely nothing. When the dust settled, the box score didn't lie. 11 points. 3 made field goals on 10 attempts.
When the Lakers get blown out on the road by the shorthanded Cavs in Cleveland, suffering their worst loss of the year. I was looking at this. With 8 minutes left in the second quarter, the Lakers were up 40-30. They had a 10-point lead. They only scored 59 points the rest of the way in that.
5 of those points came at the free throw line. The rest? 2 fast break dunks and a layup. That's the entire scoring resume. No jump shot rhythm. No half-court takeover. No signature, this is my house moment. In just 27 minutes, LeBron finished with a minus, 23 plus minus, tied for the worst mark in the entire game. Read that again. Minus 23. On a night designed to celebrate him, his legacy, his Cleveland story. This wasn't a heroic return. This wasn't a farewell tour. This was a brutally honest snapshot of where LeBron is right now. And somehow, the irony still wasn't finished. Because while LeBron was limping and stat hunting late, the Real spark came from somewhere nobody expected.
So weird and so cool and so surreal. You know, my mom get to watch her son and her grandson play in the NBA at the same time. I actually just started to think about how insane that is. That's...
Bronny James checked in when the outcome was already sealed, and suddenly the building woke up. He jumped a passing lane, took it coast to coast, and slammed down a fast break dunk that got the loudest reaction of the night. The energy shifted instantly. He followed it with a smooth finish on the run. 8 points. 3 for 3 shooting. All in just 8 minutes. And here's the line nobody wants to sit with. Bronny made as many field goals in 8 minutes of garbage time as LeBron did in 27 minutes of meaningful basketball. Yeah, let that marinate. And just like his father, Bronny already understands how numbers can show up when the pressure's gone. But here's where the story splits.
25 on the night for Spida as they win at 129 to 99. In his return, LeBron 11 points, 3 rebounds. Well, now count this, Ernest.
Bronny did something after the buzzer that quietly spoke volumes. He stayed on the floor, shook hands, showed respect to the other team. Basic stuff, but somehow it felt different in this context. Because LeBron? He was already heading down the tunnel before the horn finished echoing. No handshakes. No acknowledgement of the franchise that drafted him, built him, and turned him into a global icon. Just a fast exit, like someone desperate to escape a night that went completely off script. And speaking of scripts, there's another one forming behind the scenes. Reports have surfaced suggesting Cleveland could welcome LeBron back this summer. A potential year 24 reunion, right back where it all began. And when you strip away the emotions, the politics, the narratives, it might be the only move left that actually makes sense.
James holds off Lonzo Ball and is fouled and then grabs his left leg.
LeBron James has spent 11 of his 23 NBA seasons in Cleveland across 2 separate runs. Born and raised in Akron, drafted number 1 in 2003. His name is permanently stitched into that franchise whether people are comfortable with it or not. But here's where the story gets uncomfortable. For all the talk about loyalty, roots, and legacy, LeBron's longest uninterrupted stretch with any team hasn't been Cleveland. It's been Los Angeles. 8 straight years. Longer than his first Cavs run. Longer than his second. And yet, if you read between the lines, it feels like the Lakers are quietly done. They didn't want him back last summer. Reports suggested frustration when he opted in anyway. That single decision locked them into another $55 million season. And let's be honest about what that money is buying right now. It buys selective offense. It buys pacing himself. It buys skip defensive possessions to conserve energy. That's not leadership. That's survival mode. A presence so massive it bends roster construction and kills flexibility. That's been the Lakers' LeBron era in one sentence. One bubble title, surrounded by years of injuries, excuses, chaos, and early exits. Now look at the standings, and tell me this doesn't feel familiar. The Lakers are barely hanging on. Phoenix is rising. Minnesota is charging. The play-in line is creeping closer every week. And if the Lakers slip into that spot, they're staring straight at a 1 or 2 seed in the first round out west. That's not a championship path. That's a fast track to another short spring. Sweep or gentlemen's sweep. Pick your flavor. The ending feels pre-written, and that's exactly why Cleveland suddenly starts to make sense again. The East is wide open compared to the West. The Cavs are good enough to sell hope. And the PR, it writes itself. One last return. Finish where it started. Chase one final finals run in a softer conference. It's the cleanest exit ramp available, especially with the Lakers clearly itching to turn the page. But nights like this expose the gap between marketing and reality. This wasn't a king reclaiming anything. This was an aging superstar getting overwhelmed by a team that hasn't even had a great year. This wasn't nostalgia. This was truth. Legacy isn't preserved by tribute videos. It isn't protected by padded box scores. It's earned in moments that actually matter. And the most telling part? How predictable this all feels. We've seen this movie before. When the lights get brightest and expectations peak, the conversation shifts away from performance and toward meaning. It becomes about symbolism, emotion, speculation about next season, anything except what actually happened on the court. And that distraction covers one uncomfortable reality. LeBron James no longer controls games against competent teams, even teams having down years. That's the part the media still won't confront. Greatness has an expiration date. Every legend reaches the point where the name weighs more than the impact. LeBron is clearly there. Yes, he can still give you moments. Yes, he can still put numbers on the board with enough touches and freedom. But the ability to consistently tilt games, especially against physical, disciplined teams, that edge is gone. Nights like this don't happen by accident. They happen because time always wins. And what's even more glaring is the leadership void. When adversity hit, there was no rally, no defensive tone, no urgency transmitted through effort. That vacuum matters. Younger players notice it. Coaches feel it. Front offices definitely track it. When your highest paid player mentally checks out and stops defending, when things turn sideways, the entire roster follows. That's not leadership. That's coexistence. Meanwhile, the Lakers are trapped in NBA purgatory. Not bad enough to rebuild. Not good enough to contend. Every decision filtered through LeBron's timeline instead of the franchise's future. And as long as that's the case, the ceiling stays painfully low. This season isn't drifting toward a miracle. It's drifting toward another awkward ending, where progress gets claimed without actually being made. Cleveland, on the other hand, offers comfort, familiarity, a softer landing, an organization that would happily absorb the spectacle, sell the nostalgia, protect the image. And at this stage, that matters more to LeBron than rings. The chase has shifted. It's not about titles anymore. It's about controlling the narrative, ending the career on his terms, in place that will shield the legacy. But if this homecoming showed anything, it's that nostalgia doesn't win games. Memories don't guard the perimeter. Tribute videos don't stop runs. The current Cavaliers didn't freeze. They didn't bow. They didn't hesitate. They just played better basketball. They ran. They defended. They shared the ball. And they exposed every weakness the Lakers try to hide. That's the present, no matter how loud the applause was before tip-off. So if this really was a preview of what's next, the path is already visible. LeBron's days as a true difference-maker in the West are numbered. The Lakers' patience is thinning. The league has already moved forward. The only real question left isn't whether the story is ending. It's how fast the final chapter gets written. Does it end with excuses or with quiet acceptance? Strip away the emotion. Remove the production value. Time always wins. What's left is a performance that raises real questions about direction, accountability, and honesty in today's NBA conversation. Games like this get wrapped in sentiment because sentiment is safer than truth. But basketball isn't played in flashbacks. It's played in real time. And real time just exposed how wide the gap has become between LeBron's reputation and his on-court influence. This isn't hate. This isn't disrespect. It's about standards. Legends set them, and eventually they're measured by them. The league is faster, younger, and more relentless now. And nights like this make it harder to keep pretending otherwise. If you're done with spin, tired of narratives replacing performance, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop your take in the comments. Was this just one bad night, or another clear sign that the LeBron era is closer to the end than most people want to admit?